party is a ball to those who think young, and refreshment is light, bracing, clean tasting.
The lively crowd today agrees. Those who think young say, Pepsi, please. They pick the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi for those who think young. When you say Pepsi, please, you're putting yourself among people who like their leisure. With Pepsi's a drink that's young. So go ahead and pick the drink that lets you drink young as you think. Yes, get the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi for those who think young.
Thank you very much.
There are many Inland Empire tales of the supernatural to be told. A number of them have been reported in the pages of the San Bernardino Sun and the Riverside Press Enterprise newspapers. The story of the Phantom of the High School Prom dates back to the late 1920s. 3 young men were driving to the San Bernardino High School prom. They stopped at the corner of Waterman and Highland Avenues. It was there that they spotted a young woman dressed in a formal white gown. She asked for a ride to the prom, and they obliged. She said her name was Vicky Baxter. Vicky spent the night dancing and conversing with other prom attendees. At the end of the dance, she asked the three young men to take her back to the corner where she had been picked up. Exiting the car, she walked through a gate, which was the entrance to Mountain View Cemetery. She then disappeared. The incident was reported to the police, who contacted Vicky Baxter's mother. She told them that her daughter had been killed in an auto accident the year before on her way to the prom. The legend is that she would reappear at the San Bernardino High School prom every 3 to 4 years. In 1978, there was an investigation by San Bernardino High School journalism student Greg Cole and history teacher Brian Burke. It revealed that no student by the name of Vicky Baxter had ever attended San Bernardino High School. They also reported that no one by the name of Vicky Baxter was buried at Mountain View Cemetery. White lady ghosts are a fairly common apparition seen throughout the paranormal world. They are usually associated with local legends involving a tragedy, such as an accidental death, murder, or suicide. The phantom of the high school prom could be considered such a ghost. Mary Ann is the Redlands version of this spirit. It is said that she inhabits the Glenn Wallack's Theater at the University of Redlands. This white lady was allegedly a former drama student who was killed in an auto accident while on her way to a performance. The ghost engages in mischievous activities. A former costume designer once alleged that she would constantly find a certain dress on the floor in the storage room. The designer would replace the dress on the costume rack, and when she returned, it would be on the floor again. Mary Ann would occasionally be seen floating above the stage, disturbing the stage lights and causing props to fall to the ground. She has made her presence known since the late 1960s. From 1958 to 1959, the beast beneath the bridge would terrorize Riverside motorists driving at night. The beast would emerge from beneath a bridge crossing the Santa Ana River. One eyewitness described the creature as a 6-foot reptilian with scaly skin and no nose or ears. This description matches the appearance of the Gill Man in the 1954 movie Creature from the Black Lagoon. In the 1970s, footprints allegedly belonging to Bigfoot were spotted in the Santa Ana River basin, but there was never any connection made between the two creatures. In the October 31, 2010 edition of the Riverside Press Enterprise newspaper, an article appeared that attempted to explain the mystery of the beast beneath the bridge. In an interview some 50 years after the fact, retired Riverside City College professor of biology Cecil Johnson claimed that he was the beast. Johnson said he would don a phosphorescent outfit and a ghostly mask to prank the locals into believing that they had seen a monster. In 1965, the city of Yucaipa drew nationwide interest when the owners of a house reported mysterious pounding coming from within its walls. The noises started in December, and by January of 1966, the Cannon family had had enough and put a for sale sign in front of their home. At its worst, the poundings numbered 60-plus times a day. Things were so bad that the family dog Muff would refuse to enter the house during the pounding episodes. Finally, in June 1966, two structural experts from the LA Department of Building and Safety told the family that the disturbances may have been caused by expansive soil that swelled up and lifted one corner of the house after absorbing water during recent rains. This information did not convince the Cannon family to take their house off the market. They said they didn't like living in a house with built-in sound effects. Today the house is still standing, but with no recent reports of unusual sounds. The crying portrait baby haunted a large house in Riverside. It was the subject of a Tina Flown article in the March 19, 1973 edition of the San Bernardino Sun newspaper. The haunting was reported to have taken place at the Irvine Mansion on Brockton Avenue. Built in 1906, it was originally known as the Stell Lou Vine Mansion. The ghost was theorized to be the baby son of the original owners, the Irvine family. He was born and also died in the house. His image can be seen as the centerpiece of an antique stained glass window in the home. The baby's crying was first heard in 1938 when the house was being sold to the Freeman family. Riverside City inspectors heard the baby and immediately left the property, refusing to return. After the purchase of the mansion, it was turned into a boarding house, where as many as 10 guests resided. In 1972, a room and 3 meals a day cost only $35 a week. By the 1980s, the boarding house had been converted into a child care center, and the baby's ghostly wails ceased. The house is still standing. It was most recently resold in 2021 to a family for in the vicinity of about $1 million. Ghosts also haunt the San Bernardino Mountains. The Lake Arrowhead brothel ghost occasionally haunts the Bracken Fern Manor Bed and Breakfast Inn, located in the Lake Arrowhead area. The manor was built in 1926 and was part of the Arrowhead Villas and Arrowhead Villas Club development. By 1929, the property was taken over by mobster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. It came to be known as the Club Arrowhead in the Pines. It consisted of 2 buildings, a casino speakeasy on one side of the street and a brothel on the other. The buildings were connected by an underground tunnel. The Bracken Fern Manor, seen here in the lower right corner, is allegedly haunted by the ghost of a prostitute who was killed by a jealous mobster. Her name was Violet, known for wearing a violet-scented perfume. Today it is said that one can smell her perfume when she is wandering the hallways. In Part 2, we pay a visit to perhaps the most haunted stretch of land in the Inland Empire. Agua Mansa Road in Colton, home to La Llorona, the Weeping Woman.
Trick-or-treating for Halloween is a great way to spend time with friends and family, but safety must be our #1 priority. These Halloween tips will ensure everyone has a fun yet safe Halloween. Make sure to choose a costume that doesn't have long trailing fabrics so you can help prevent tripping. If a costume has a mask, make sure the holes are large enough for children to see out of. Giving a child glow sticks or a flashlight as a part of their costume can make them more noticeable when going trick-or-treating. Tell children to stay away from open flames like carved pumpkins with candles inside of them. And be sure to know how to stop, drop, and roll if their clothes catch fire. Use battery-operated candles or glow sticks inside of carved pumpkins. And make sure all smoke alarms in your home are working properly. And never forget to keep the exits clear of decorations so nothing blocks escape routes. I'm Sarah Glasgow with WSTV 13. We hope you have a safe and happy Halloween.
Welcome back to my shelf. I have 3 more things for you today, still sort of in the Halloween spirit. The first is from a Criterion Collection, this very snazzy package of Guillermo del Toro's first 3 films, a trilogia of Kronos, The Devil's Backbone, and Pan's Labyrinth, and it's packaged in this really great style. The top comes off. I don't know if I can do this justice. Top comes off, and then so inside you have almost like a little horror candygram. Top flips up. The Kronos side flips out. The Devil's Backbone flips out. Down at the bottom, you even have Pan's Labyrinth. But inside a really great hardback book that covers the scripts, and there's wonderful essays. It's really they went all out for this particular set. Even at the bottom of this thing, you got your basic scary eye guy from Pan's Labyrinth. What's wondrous about Del Toro's first 3 films is that he's very assured all the way through, even from his first film, from Kronos. Some people will do horror films to kind of cash in on the genre. Del Toro is drawn to it because he has a true love of horror. So Kronos is a vampire story, but done in a very clever way, and a little contraption, and it's not a perfect film, but it's a great start. You can see the complexity and the fresh ideas he brings to the genre. His second film, The Devil's Backbone, is a ghost story. There's a kid, his father's killed, he's sent to an orphanage that is haunted, and it's a classic ghost story. You really get to empathize with the ghosts. And finally, in Pan's Labyrinth, for me, it's still Del Toro's best film, because it truly is a labyrinth where the monsters are really the humans up above, Franco and his sword, and the monsters below are really a solace in a way to the young girl who's kind of split between the 2 worlds. Well, in these 3 films, you get to see what quality he's bringing to his films. In each film, he makes a quantum leap, but he's going to continue, and he's going to be a director to be reckoned with. Well, here's a really kind of hard to find book, but it's a study of it. It's called Night of the Hunter, a biography of a film by Jeffrey Couchman. It's very scholarly in a way, but it comes at this film in many, many angles. You get to see how the screenplay worked out, how the original novel came out, the participation of that author with the film, the challenges of marketing a film is very unusual. Anyone you've watched this movie, it's a scary film, but it's really a children's film, and if it connects with you, it's a film that will stay with you forever. And this book goes a long way in kind of showing you how this film created its own magic. It was not a box office hit by any stretch, and made life so tough for Charles Laughton. He never directed a film again, and it was very, very disappointed about how this worked out. But years have shown that he had created a masterpiece, and this is a great documentation of a masterpiece. As I share, I'm afraid of everything, so I really gravitate towards ghost stories, and you can't find a cooler, well-made ghost story short of The Haunting by Robert Wise, as is the 1944's The Uninvited by Lewis Allen, which stars Ray Milland. As the plot's simple: it's a brother and a sister find this house up on a edge of a hill overlooking an ocean, They fall in love with it, and they're gonna move in there together, and he's gonna write music, and she's gonna work the house. And there's a girl who is the granddaughter of the man who sells them this house that happens to be very, very, very haunted, and is trying to draw the young girl back so it can kill her. It's a realistic ghost that haunts the film, and it's kind of one of the early touches with the supernatural. There's a seance in this film. Again, this is the 40s. You get a cool balance between some of the humor. It's a lighthearted film on one level, but this growing, desperate ghost story and what's going to happen to this young girl is in the balance. So there's the 3 cool recommendations. Let's do this again.
Good evening. Tonight's theme, slightly obsessive love, stalkers if you will, stalkers if you won't. All right. Now this first song, this is from my upcoming record, Blood Moon, which is going to be out pretty soon. Hello. Oh, I'm starting to see your names now. Very good. Very good. Chris LeRoy. Do we have a stalker song, Chris? I don't know if we do. I'll sing it. I'll sing one of our nice, happy love songs in a creepy tone of voice, and then it'll sound stalkery. This one doesn't really fit this theme, but you can make it fit the theme if you really think about it. From the forthcoming album, Blood Moon. Still doing the acoustic version here. It's very rock on the album. Sing along with me. Poor life choices. Last night I think I made some poor life choices. If I had another chance, but I'll make better plans to do the same thing anyway. But I'll make poor life choices. Hang on 1 second. Poor life choices. Last night I think I made some poor life choices. If I had another chance, but I'd make better plans to do the same thing anyway. But I'll make poor life choices. I'm gonna live and die with poor life choices. I'll just take my empty cup, admit that I fucked up, and go along my way. I still hate the word closure and the false hope that it brings. It's just another magic word made by people who make words that don't really mean a thing. We're not so divided, are we? They feed us all the same lies, but we just see through different filters, somehow manage to survive. Make those poor life choices. Last night I think I made some poor life choices. If I had another chance, but I'd make better plans to do the same thing anyway. Would I make poor life choices? I'm gonna live and die with poor life choices. So I'll just take my empty cup, admit that I fucked up, and go along my way. The other night I had a dream, left me feeling pretty bad. In that dream I was alone, answering the phone, and it was my dad. He said, I know I died a long time ago, just called you up to let you know you might be going down some bad roads, son, with your poor life choices. Poor life choices. Last night I think we made some poor life choices. If we have another chance, we make better plans to do the same thing anyway. Will we make poor life choices? We're all gonna live and die with poor life choices. Let's just take our empty cups, admit that we fucked up, and go along our way. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Know everybody in this room has some awful thing they've done, or they're gonna pretty soon. Now trying to bring us down, be a bonding thing all around. Look at that person next to you, and just imagine what they do, and what they do. They make those poor life choices. We're all gonna live and die with poor life choices. Let's just take our empty cups, admit that we fucked up, and go along our way. All right, welcome back to the cave.